Over the last few years, this mini console craze has really taken off, with Sega, Nintendo, Atari, Commodore, and even Sinclair wanting a piece of that retro pie. See what I did there? Even Nintendo have gotten on the action with their NES and SNES Classic Minis. Check out my review of both of those at the end of the video. So obviously, anything that Nintendo does, Sony have got to try and do too. And they did. With the PlayStation Classic. So, join me as we take a look at the PlayStation Classic. Is it any good? Let's find out. The PlayStation was originally released in 1995, the remnants of a failed venture between Sony and Nintendo, and was seen as the cool alternative to Sega's Saturn and the Nintendo 64. With its adult-orientated games and its modern, cutting-edge 3D graphics and sweet minimalist design. It went on to be one of the highest-selling games consoles of all time, to become a benchmark of 90s gaming, and is a retro gaming staple. Surely everyone knows what the PlayStation is by now. Some of the most popular games and game series of all time started life on the PlayStation, so it has one hell of a legacy. So of course, as the laws of diminishing returns prove, it would eventually get a classic console. And here it is. So let's take a look at the PlayStation Classic. Welcome to the next level. So here we are, and here it is. This is the PlayStation Classic. Let's have a quick look at the box while we're here. As you can see, it's very reminiscent of the actual original PlayStation box, which I still don't have my original one, but I remember it looking very much like this, other than this brand new PEGI rating. You can see 20 games preloaded, a bunch of stuff on the front, that's all like licensing stuff. Yellow, like the original PlayStation box, and then there's your list of what you get in there, so your controllers, console cables and stuff. What's there? Back, it's got some kind of compatibility things and the list of games that are included on the console. On the original PlayStation, it did have a list of games that were like available, so that thematically works. Yeah, and on that side that, top that, bottom that. Cool. So should we crack this thing open then? I've not actually opened this yet. As you can see, the tape is still sealed. So this is genuinely the first time I've actually seen this thing, like in person. So let's have a look. The tape is cut. Going in. Oh, that's nice. Pop-up book lever type action. It is one of these box in the box type doohickeys. So let's just slide that out there. Oh, that's quite nice. Let's get rid of this other box. There we go. So there we go. I think this is just white. There's some things there, and then your barcodes and stuff there. Okay, let's go. More stuff. There is some instructions, which again look very much like the original PlayStation instructions. There's no codes to download anything or anything like that, so they can go to one side for now. Okay, so we've got another box within the box, and there it is. Ooh, that's really tiny, and actually does actually look pretty cool. Okay, so I've selected a really stupid angle for this camera, so it's going to be interesting. You know, if I sit up here, can you still hear me? Hello. So this seems to be the first thing we take out. So there is the PlayStation. Open the tape for the first time. There we go. So there is your PlayStation. Doesn't do anything. Ooh, that feels very reminiscent to the original. And it's, of course, it's USB for that. If you hear any loud noises in the background, it's I live right next to a factory and they're doing whatever in their yard. But PlayStation, it's actually, yeah, it's tiny. It's got like the fake flap on the back there. HDMI, power cable input, bottom just PEGI. It feels quite, it's light, but it's going to be because there's basically fuck all in here. But it feels like the plastic's good quality. It feels decent, which is what you expect for 90 quid. Let's pop that there for a second. Back in this box. There's like layers. How do I get these layers out? Basically, take this whole bloody thing apart. There we go. So, controller. Now, these are like 1-to-1 size, I think. Okay, they are really bloody nice. They feel exactly like the original PlayStation controllers. I just wish they were dual shock, really. It's one of my main complaints, and a lot of people's complaints with this console, is that it's not dual shock. Like, at least the analog sticks. But hey ho, here we are. D-pad feels slightly different. Buttons feel fine, they're all rubbery. Top buttons are fine. The end of the that's neat. USB is like the old PlayStation control input, which is pretty sweet. There is your power cable. I'm going to get these out to shipped. USB, just a normal USB with a micro USB on that end, and a big chunky looking HDMI cable. And that's the box. There's an extra controller, you get two in there. That's the box. Okay, so let's look at some scale stuff. So as you can see, just there, not too shabby. So there's your PlayStation there, and the controller. So let's just do the PlayStation for now. And here is my original as a child with its giant skate sticker on it, because I was super into skateboarding when it came out. So you can see this is a slightly later model because it had the icons rather than text. The reset, still says reset. It's in the flat because my cheap cartridge use and all that. So that's my original childhood PlayStation. I actually used to capture games on when I do games on this channel. There is the new one. As you can see, it's very tiny. It does look to be in proportion though, so it looks like it should be that size. Like it's scaled down, like that's what I mean. It's not like they've just made an arbitrary thing. That's nice. It's a slightly lighter grey than the original. The original's a bit darker, but that could just be because it's super dirty. Because it's my original one. But no, I genuinely think it is a lighter grey. Cool, so you can see. Controllers. I can't actually find any of my PS1 controllers around anyway. I think they're in a box. I've got a big box. Lives behind my sofa that I keep all my extra cables and stuff like that in. So, it's PS2, they're the same size. Yeah, as you can see, its scale is perfect. Yeah, D-pad does feel a little bit like it protrudes a little bit more than it should, just compared to the PS2 one, but that could just be a modification from the PS2. But it still feels good. They feel solid. It seems like it's quality in the materials, like how it's manufactured, the actual plastics and stuff, which is cool. Just for fun, here's this PlayStation game. As you can see, it's kind of the size of the case, almost, with a little bit sticking out on top. So yeah, that's sort of how tiny it is. And just for fun, SNES Mini. NES Mini. They're actually similar size. There's a little bit overhang, but like width-wise, they're actually about the same. So there you go. The PlayStation Classic.
Setting this up couldn't be simpler. Just plug in the USB power cable. As usual, this doesn't include an adapter plug, so be someone living in the future and own one. Then, plug in the HDMI cable. And finally, plug in the controller, as is traditional in the playing of games. So now, you can play the games. All 20 of them. It's like it's 1995 all over again. If you're done with the game and want to change, hit that reset button to take you back to the main menu. And if you're playing a game that requires a changing of discs, just press the open tray button to switch discs. It's that easy. The games. It's been a little bit of a contentious issue since this was announced, as the game selection isn't really to everyone's tastes. So what's on here? Well, Battle Arena Toshinden, Core Borders 2, Destruction Derby, Final Fantasy 7, Grand Theft Auto, Intelligent Cube, Jumping Flash, Metal Gear Solid, Mr. Driller, Oddworld Abe's Odyssey, Rayman, Resident Evil Director's Cut, Revelations Persona, Ridge Racer Type 4, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, Siphon Filter, Tekken 3, Tom Clancy's Rainbow 6, Twisted Metal, Wild Arms. Okay, real talk. This game selection isn't that great. There are some amazing games on here, and some proper PlayStation classics, such as Destruction Derby, Final Fantasy 7, Abe's Odyssey, Rayman, Metal Gear Solid, Siphon Filter and Twisted Metal. And a few super rare and expensive games like Intelligent Cube, or Kuroshi as it was known in the UK, Jumping Flash and the original Persona. But some of the offerings are just puzzling. Mr. Driller, as decent as it is, would that have been on anyone's dream list for this? I actually understand why games such as Crash, Spyro and Medieval weren't included, with them all having recently released or recently announced remasters. Even Tomb Raider, as it's now owned by Square Enix, could maybe be involved in some rights or licensing wrangling. But what about Parappa the Rapper? Vagrant Story, Silent Hill, G-Police, fucking Wipeout! First party and exclusive titles that were weirdly omitted from the lineup. Also, Metal Gear Solid is a fantastic game and a fantastic inclusion, but a game that is enhanced so much by the DualShock controller's analog sticks and vibration functions, which aren't included in this set, only the original launch controllers. I did actually make a list of what my dream games would be for this console, and what I now see is a teeny tiny piece of paper, and I omitted Metal Gear Solid due to the lack of DualShock support, the same reason why I omitted Gran Turismo and Ape Escape. Saying that though, all the games they included play absolutely fine. There has been some talk about its lack of 60Hz support, but as the PS1 ran natively in 50Hz in the UK anyway, unless you had an upscaler and a fancy pants TV for $19.95, it's not really something that bothers me too much. Although the emulation can be patchy, with slowdown and frame rate issues galore, but for the casual buyer, it's not really something that will cause any drama. What does bother me though, is the lackadaisical attitude Sony seems to have had with this thing's development. They used an open source emulator for this rather than actually invented their own, like Nintendo have done, and it really shows, with the aforementioned issues like slowdown, frame rate issues, and even frame stuttering in places. Some games are worse than on the original hardware. Such a shame. You done cheaped out, Sony. Saying that though, the menus are nicely presented, and it even does the thing, which is great. There aren't any filters or gameplay options here, but you do have access to a virtual memory card for each game, including accurate save slot icons, and one save state slot per game. So that's a thing. They're also really easy to erase too, so keep an eye on what buttons you're pressing. The PlayStation Classic is okay. It's just okay. The games included, whilst only about 50% of them are bona fide classics you'd expect, they play fine for the most part and will give you the same nostalgic feelings you had playing these things back in the day. The games you aren't too bothered about are here if you want to play them, but no one's buying this thing for Mr. Driller. Fuck you, Mr. Driller! Look, in my honest opinion, as an owner of the NES and SNES classic consoles, I buy these to play games I don't own the original copies of, and to experience games that are just too rare and expensive to own originals, and to do all that on official hardware. Other than maybe 2 games, nothing on here could be classed as rare, and the majority of the classic games you want to replay for whatever reason just aren't here. It's just such a shame. The skeleton of a great product is here, but it just misses the mark so damn hard. Sony themselves offer better, legal, official ways to play every game on here too, which just adds to these feelings of melancholy. Had more love been put into this console, it could have been an amazing nostalgia trip, but as it is, it just kind of feels like a cynical cash grab. Alright look, I know I'm being overly critical, but to be honest this thing's just fine. It's okay. I mean, it feels well made, feels decent, and it'll look great on a shelf. But there's just something missing. There's just something that's not here that should be. I mean, it's well made, the controllers feel good if a little bit light, it's just a shame they're not dual shocks. And I think that's the thing with this. It just feels like missed opportunities galore. I'd say if you could find one cheap enough, or if a friend's got one you can have a go on, definitely give it a go. But 90 quid for this is pretty fucking steep for what you're actually getting. I mean mine, I used store card points and a gift card, so it didn't actually cost me anything. but if I'd have paid 90 quid for this thing, I'd have been really fucking disappointed. Anyways, I've been the Hardcore Gamer. Join me next time for a much better video, but for now, I wonder if they can do a Sega Saturn Mini. Hey folks, and thank you for watching this video on the PlayStation Classic console. Yeah, it's alright, isn't it? You know. If you like what you've seen here today, please hit that like button. If you want to see more from me, please hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you can see every time I upload a video. If you really like what I've done and you want to support me monetarily, then check out my Ko-fi account, which is coffee.com/xHARDCOREGAMErx, but there'll be a link in the description. Please check the videos that are on the screen now as well, which go back to my Nintendo Classic reviews, and I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.